Hey everyone, AMR back again with another tier list. So as you know, today is May the 4th, and as fitting as that is, I think today would be a very good day to do a tier list for the Star Wars movies. So I'm not going to be doing the Clone Wars, it doesn't look like. I don't see that on here. So that being said, this is going to be covering, I think, all of the movies minus the Clone Wars, because you do have Rogue One in here, I believe. You have Solo, and you have Rogue One right here. So this is going to have the other 9 movies that are currently out. Wow, that's a lot. Let's go ahead and jump into it. As always, if you like today's content, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, help me on the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, so first up here, we have Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. I'm not going to lie, I think that the movie was very good. I just don't think it's quite an S tier movie for me personally. I think that what they did to like round out the entire series and everything was really well done. I thought Palpatine was a little puppeteerish in my personal opinion. It was really cool when he takes his fingers and then the lightning goes up and it like basically stalls all of the Jedi ships. It was a really cool movie. I thought it was really well done, and I really enjoyed the fact that they had Kylo Ren change into a good guy again, which I think was everything leading up to that point through episode 7 and 8. It was very indicative that he had good in him and that he wanted to be a good guy, but deep down, I don't know if he could. I thought it was a really good way to round out the entire series, and it did leave the door open if you wanted to go ahead and continue on with the franchise. That being said, though, I think they could have done things a little bit better. I did like the fact that they brought back a lot of the original cast. I thought that was really well done. The thought that really kind of made me laugh was the fact that Leia was the only one who was actually dead in real life, and she's the one that's alive in this one. Everyone else who currently is alive, of the person who plays Luke and the person who plays Han Solo, both of those characters are alive in real life, and then Princess Leia's character, the real person, is actually dead, and she was in this and the other two are not. I thought that was kind of comical, but all in all, I like the movie. I think that it was a really well put together movie. I just don't think it was the best Star Wars. I think that S is going to be only it's going to be like a placeholder for the best of the best, and I'm not going to sell for anything else. S is only going to have one movie in it, in my personal opinion. So next up here, you have episode 2. Episode 2 was good. I'm going to put episode 2 as a B tier movie. I thought it was good. You definitely start to get the romantic side of Anakin and Padme in that one. I thought that part was cool, and I really liked the like gladiator type-ish scene. And then, you know, it leaves you off with Anakin getting his hand cut off, which was very inspirational into how the third movie was going to play out, having the little battle there with Count Dooku. And then you finally got to see Yoda do his thing, which was really cool. I mean, a lot of people have been waiting for that for a very long time, since like the 70s, and they finally got a glimpse into what Yoda could do. I thought that was really well. I just didn't care too much with the amount of harping on the relationship between Anakin and Padme. I felt like it was a little manufactured. Padme obviously didn't want to give herself entirely to Anakin because, 1, she was older, and then 2, she was also in politics. Anakin was kind of like that rebel pretty boy. And yeah, I mean, it was a good movie all in all. I just don't think that it was quite as good as the Rise of Skywalker. So the next one up here, you have The Last Jedi. I thought The Last Jedi was okay. So I'm going to put The Last Jedi as B as well. I thought it was good. The part that really frustrates me with The Last Jedi is when Snoke is sitting on the throne and Kylo has to kill Snoke. How the all-encompassing, all-knowing, forever person, whatever you want to call him, Snoke, doesn't see that the lightsaber is shifting, which is completely against how he is as a character. He's always one step ahead of you. For Kylo to be able to do that and just kill him that easily kind of seemed gimmicky to me. And that kind of like ruined it, honestly, for me. I thought that the movie outside of that was actually pretty good. I just thought that Snoke was having such a build-up as a character. For him to die so easy kind of was a little frustrating to me. And it did kind of ruin the movie a little bit, in my personal opinion. So next up here, you have Star Wars The Force Awakens. I thought that the movie was actually pretty good. I'm going to put it up here in A as well. All three of the movies that came out within the last 10 years, I thought were actually pretty good. I definitely liked the new cast as well as it tying into older version. I thought that was really well done. And the storylines are actually pretty good too. I thought that having a stormtrooper who falls off of the stormtroop path and tries to just become part of the Jedi clan, realistically, he's not like trying to be a Jedi. He's just trying to get out of being a stormtrooper, and ultimately finds out that he really does want to be part of the Jedi. Obviously, I'm talking about Finn, and then you also have like the other type of character who's not really like touched on a whole lot in the Star Wars franchise is Poe. Like, Poe is strictly a fighter pilot. Like, that's pretty much what he does, and you don't really have that in any of the other movies. Luke also does fighter pilot stuff, but he's not a fighter pilot per se. And so I thought that was a really cool introduction. And then you also have like this rise of a character where we don't really know how she connects to the rest of the Jedi clan. I'm obviously talking about Rey here, and you're just kind of left wondering, how is she tying into why does she have like this natural knack for the Force? And there's a lot of questions raised. I thought that for it being such a long period of time between episode 3 and episode 7, I thought that this definitely lived up the hype. I thought the storyline was fantastic, and ultimately I thought that it was probably the best of the. So next up here we have Revenge of the Sith. In my personal opinion, Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie, hands down. I think that this is the turning point. Well, this is the turning point when Anakin becomes Darth Vader. I mean, it is what it is, man. You're gonna have spoiler alerts. Like, you clicked on this video for a specific reason. Leave me alone, all right? But you have Revenge of the Sith. This is where Anakin becomes Darth Vader. This is where you have the huge tension between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and ultimately you see all of the effort that was put into episode 2 to build up that relationship between Anakin and Padme dissolve into pretty much nothingness. Anakin loses sight of his actual goal, which is to protect his children and everything, and ends up killing his wife. And out of just pure rage, you have the scene where he annihilates an entire child ward, which was crazy. Obviously, they cut that out because it's against Star Wars is better. It's against Star Wars tradition to like show gory graphic scenes, but he does like light his lightsaber, and it just kind of gives you implication that he killed him. I thought the movie was fantastic, though. When you talk about storyline, how he starts off like the planes fighting alongside Obi-Wan Kenobi, he ends up killing Count Dooku. That still isn't enough for the Jedi Council to make Anakin a Jedi, or a Jedi Master, I should say. Anakin's super frustrated, and ultimately Palpatine has that wherewithal to say, oh, he just defeated Count Dooku single-handedly, he's going to be my new apprentice. And then he shows Anakin the side of the dark side of the Force. And ultimately Anakin gets wrapped up in his own motivation, and then you see the fall of Anakin and the rise of Vader. Really cool fight scene at the end of the movie. I'm not gonna like spoil that for you too much, but that to me is like some of the best cinematography in the entire Star Wars franchise. It's like a 10-minute fight. There's like lava, there's epic battles. You obviously have the famous quote of, "It's over, Anakin, I have the high ground." You know, so it's a very cool movie, and I totally encourage you to go ahead and give that one a look. Next up, you have Solo. Solo was okay in my opinion. I'm gonna put Solo down in C. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was a bit of a snoozer. I kind of struggled to watch it on the first go around. It took me multiple times to get through the movie. I just didn't really connect with Han's character in the Star Wars franchise all that much. He's definitely, you know, he's a smuggler guy who's trying to get his rocks off by like trying to screw other people over. He's definitely getting himself in a lot of predicaments, and this is just giving you the backstory behind Han Solo, who, you know, a lot like a Finn, had no intention of joining the Jedi Force, but just kind of got lumped into it by way of virtue. He was a non-believer until he actually starts seeing some of the stuff of the Jedi, and ultimately becomes part of that Jedi franchise. So I'm glad that Star Wars decided to do a solo background story. I just think they kind of missed the boat on the whole entire meaning behind the movie. It kind of dragged on, the characters weren't that great, and then it just left me super confused at the end with Darth Maul. If you don't watch Star Wars The Clone Wars, then you're really not going to have a ton of context and understand how that solo plays into that. And so I was a little confused, and I don't know, I just thought the movie was trying to do too much and it just wasn't good. Return of the Jedi is by far the worst freaking movie in the entire Star Wars franchise. I tell you what, man, when they go on that planet with those little like furry bear looking things, I've never been able to get past that scene staying awake the whole entire time. They're just like stuck on this remote planet. These little furball people thingies are just walking around. It's just so frustrating of a movie. And literally that's the last movie that came out before Phantom Menace. Like, I can't even imagine how just awful of a taste that left in your mouth from like 1980 something all the way up until I think like 2000, if I want to say. Now, don't hold me to those dates. I don't know them off the top of my head. That's a pretty long time, and Return of the Jedi really kind of sucked in my personal opinion. I thought that they did a good job in Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope, and then only just really missed the boat on Return of the Jedi. Next up, we have Empire Strikes Back. I thought Empire Strikes Back is definitely one of the better movies. I think that it has a lot of action in it. I like the fact that you start to see Luke take a lot of ownership over his actions and like his motivation. He's not going through the trial period of becoming a Jedi anymore, and you really start to see his character develop into a true leader of the Jedi. And so I really liked the movie. I thought that it showed off his skill as a fighter pilot, as well as his craftsmanship when it came to hand-to-hand combat. I thought that was really well done. And then you also get a bunch of backstory into figuring out Luke and Leia, and a relationship between Han and Leia. There's just so much going on in that movie. I thought it was really well done, and I really liked it. Next up, you have Phantom Menace. I thought Phantom Menace was okay. Definitely not one of the better ones. There's a lot of deception going on between Padme and whoever that person is that's trying to impersonate her, so that way she's flying under the radar. That was really weird to me because it didn't really fit into how Padme acts in the later movies. In Phantom Menace, she's definitely more like engaged in combat and stuff, and in the second and third movie she's like so far removed from it. She's a full-on politician by then, and in the first movie, like, you would have expected that her character would continue to start like those fights and everything like that in the later movies, and it just wasn't there. There's a huge disconnect. Anakin's character was honestly pretty well done. The kid did a good job of showing off the fact that he can fly planes really well, and that he has the desire to become something more than just like the slave on that planet. And I think that it showed a lot about how Anakin is literally just a child, and that he has so much potential, but he just doesn't know how to use it yet. Really good developmental story, especially with like Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, I don't know his name. You know what I'm talking about. Liam Neeson. Really cool. I thought that he died rather lacklusterly, and I really liked Darth Maul. I thought that the character was really cool as a kid. I tried to be him for Halloween. It took my parents like 2.5 hours to do my hair and makeup. It was pretty funny. Next up, you have Rogue One. Rogue One was honestly kind of a sleeper movie for me as well. A lot of people put Rogue One like up here. I don't think it's that good. It's not very interesting. It was like so far from any type of connection in the rest of the series. Until you start to see like, oh, okay, so there's a transitional period between 3 and 4, and this is where that fits in. To me, it wasn't very clear, and you really don't know where it kind of fits in until the very end of the movie, in my personal opinion. And the whole entire cast was different. Had a bunch of people that I just didn't know. They were just trying to jam a bunch of shit in between 2 trilogy movies, and it just didn't connect for me. That's my personal opinion. It's my tier list. I can say what I want. Next up and last up here, you have Star Wars A New Hope. I think that Star Wars A New Hope has to be up here in A because it is the thing that kicked this all off. I think that it was really cool to see a start of a franchise, especially at such a beginner time in cinematography. Like 1976, I want to say, is when the first one came out. And they did a pretty good job of making it look somewhat realistic at the time. The concept of light speed and lightsabers and the Force and everything definitely was a really cool way to try and implement that into an actual movie. I thought the storyline was really good. I thought that it was a little kind of quirky, but I understand that you kind of have to stretch your mind a little bit in the beginning. There's not as much established, but I thought that the expedition of Luke becoming a Jedi was way faster than what it takes with Rey in the later movie. But I understand what they're trying to do. At the time of creating it, I don't even think that they had an idea of making a second or a third. I think it was literally just like making a movie and seeing how it goes. So with that in mind, I think they did a fantastic job, but that's going to do my tier list. Okay. So in the S tier, you have Revenge of the Sith, and in the F tier, you have Return of the Jedi. Kind of knew that was going to happen. Please comment down below with what you think I did well on and what you totally agree on. But that's going to do it for me. All right. So I'll catch you next. Peace.